Welcome to the South Defense.
Today, we are taking a rapid ascent into the cutting edge of military aviation.
We really are.
Our sources, they're all centered around this one pretty specific piece of media that came out recently from the PLA Air Force.
Right.
And it gives us, I think, the clearest signal yet that this whole theoretical concept of manned-unmanned teaming, or MUT, has, well, it's moved decisively into operational reality.
That's right. I mean, we're looking at the absolute latest developments, and it all stems from this microfilm they released on November 11, 2025. It was for their 76th founding anniversary.
A microfilm, okay.
Yeah, it's titled Far-Reaching Dreams, and on the surface, it's a celebration, but you look closer, and embedded in all that footage is a massive strategic reveal.
Which is what, exactly?
It's the first public display of a very specific, very complex aerial formation, one that is absolutely designed for tomorrow's combat.
Okay, let's unpack this then. A microfilm, like you said, it seems like an almost nostalgic way to unveil a futuristic strategy. But the content itself is anything but old-fashioned.
Not at all.
The crucial source material gives us a specific look at 3 key aircraft operating together. So our mission here is to understand not just what these planes are, but why seeing them together signals such a fundamental shift in doctrine.
And the core revelation is that specific aerial formation. I mean, it wasn't just 3 aircraft flying in a parade. It was a stealth drone flying directly alongside 2 very sophisticated manned combat aircraft.
Okay.
And experts, they universally agree this display confirms that the capability to execute this kind of teaming, this MUT, is mature enough to be shown to the world.
So it's moving out of the lab, basically.
Exactly. It's moving from testing phases toward practical operational use. This is so much more than just new hardware. It's a public statement about a new way of executing air combat.
So let's break down the components of what experts are already calling the perfect trio. This is where the source material, despite being, a film about an ordinary family, really starts to shine.
The formation itself is the key. It's the biggest indicator of their doctrinal maturity. We see 3 distinct, very specialized assets flying together for the first time.
All right, so first up, the unmanned component. The GJ-11 stealth drone. The source material specifically calls it by its moniker, Shuanlong. It's instantly recognizable by that sharp flying wing design, which I think we first got a glimpse of way back in 2019.
That's the one. Then you have the critical command element, which is the 5th generation stealth fighter jet, the J-20.
The Wylong.
Widely known as Wylong, yeah. This is really the eyes and the brains of the manned part of the operation.
And crucially, the third piece, the specialized J-16D electronic warfare aircraft.
Right.
So when you put those 3 capabilities together, you've got deep strike stealth, you have high-level command and control, and then you have digital attack jamming. You realize this isn't some random group.
It's not. It's a highly curated system. And the consensus among analysts, which is confirmed by reports, is that this public display signals that the GJ-11 drone has reached, and I'm quoting here, a certain level of operational capability in operating seamlessly with manned aircraft.
So the integration is the real story.
That's it. Before this, we knew the components existed, right? We knew about the planes. Now we know the integration is mature. This is the PLA Air Force's first official public confirmation of that manned-unmanned teaming capability.
But to understand why they flew them together, we have to look past the hardware and get into the tactics. Why is this specific trio considered, well, perfect for penetrating hostile defense lines?
That brings us squarely to the tactical analysis from people like Song Zong Ping. The goal here is simple. It's to bypass the most sophisticated defenses out there.
You can't just fly a J-20 into a highly protected area anymore.
The risk is just too high. You need an orchestrated, a layered approach.
And that orchestration, I'm guessing, it starts with the J-16D, the electronic warfare plane.
Precisely. The J-16D conducts the necessary electronic jamming. Its whole job is to detect, classify, and then paralyze hostile radar systems.
Creating a window.
It creates a brief fleeting entry window. That EW component is the necessary distraction, the denial mechanism.
But creating that window is one thing, exploiting it is another. What's the strategic advantage of having the GJ-11 drone inside that window with the J-20 instead of just, say, using 2 J-20s?
That's the heart of manned-unmanned teaming. The J-20, using its stealth and its high-end C2 capability, it flies the mission. But the GJ-11, it acts as this unmanned, stealthy extension of the manned aircraft.
Okay, an extension.
And critically, the drone is the asset you can send deeper into those high-risk zones that you would never expose a multi-million-dollar J-22. And more importantly, a trained pilot.
So the J-20 pilot is controlling the GJ-11, maybe designating targets or directing surveillance, all while staying at a slightly safer distance.
Exactly.
That directly addresses the problem of pilot risk in highly contested airspace.
It absolutely does. The combination of the J-20 and the GJ-11 then takes advantage of the opening that the J-16D created to break through the defense line and strike key targets. It's force multiplication through risk distribution.
So you maximize firepower while minimizing the loss of your most critical human assets.
That's the idea.
But I wonder about the rigidity of that concept. I mean, does the formation always have to act as a deep penetration strike team? Or does the flexibility of having a drone allow for other roles?
And that exploration of alternative tactics is proof of their doctrinal maturity. Wang Yanan, the chief editor of Aerospace Knowledge magazine, introduced some nuance here.
So it's not a one-trick pony?
Not at all.
So what are those alternatives?
Well, for one, the GJ-11 could fly ahead of the formation entirely. It could conduct armed reconnaissance missions.
Scout the area.
Right, scout the area, confirm target locations, give you real-time updates before the J-16D and the J-20 even commit to entering the area. That completely shifts the drone from being just a strike asset to a high-end scouting asset.
Or, even simpler, I assume the drone could just play a pure wingman role, provide extra cover for the manned aircraft.
Absolutely. Think of it as providing additional sensor coverage, or maybe even carrying defensive weaponry to protect the J-20. The ability to explore all these different roles and then execute them in a network setting. Well, it suggests their training programs are highly mature.
It's a game changer.
This combination of stealth, jamming, and an expendable deep penetration asset, it fundamentally changes the risk calculation. It threatens to overturn a lot of established air combat scenarios.
So the revelation here is really about the network's maturity, not just the airframe design.
Exactly. It shows that the command and control link between the J-20 and the unmanned Zhuanlong is robust enough to handle complex shifting missions. And that is by far the hardest part of manned-unmanned teaming.
So that's the story of their current operational hardware and doctrine. But if that's the doctrine for today, what are they doing to train their pilots for the next generation of threats?
That leads us away from those three specific aircraft and into the parallel story the sources revealed. It's a systemic upgrade to their training infrastructure, which some analysts are calling the digital force revolution.
Okay, but before we dive into the software, the microfilm also gave us these quick glimpses of new physical systems, right? Indicating broader upgrades are happening.
Yeah.
They showed a J-20 launching a new air-to-air missile, and also the HQ-20 air defense missile launching, which I think only debuted recently at the V-Day parade. Why are these physical weapons system upgrades relevant to the teaming doctrine we were just talking about?
They're relevant because you can't field a highly advanced tactical trio like the one we're discussing without the supporting weapons and without the training to use them in complex scenarios. The HQ-20, that's a defensive complement.
Yeah.
And the new J-20 missile, that just shows continued refinement of the manned fighter's offensive punch.
It shows the whole ecosystem is being upgraded.
Exactly. Offense, defense, and jamming, all being upgraded simultaneously.
But the crucial technological leap, the one revealed in that separate CCTV report, it concerns the training system itself. And this is truly fascinating because it's not about metal and aerodynamics, it's all about software and learning systems. So walk me through how this new training system works.
Okay, so the new system integrates physical weapons and equipment directly with training simulators, all on a vast network.
So this isn't just a pilot sitting in a box simulator.
Not at all. This is a comprehensive network-enabled confrontation exercise. You have pilots operating real hardware and operators using their specialized equipment, and they conduct these massive digital exercises together.
So they're fighting a digitally created battle alongside real-world operators.
Yes, and here is the aha detail. The inclusion of what they are calling digital forces.
Digital forces?
These are AI elements embedded within the training network that serve as the simulated enemy. And they're dynamic. They are constantly learning opponents.
Wow. Okay, that sounds far more sophisticated than just programming a simulator to respond in a certain way.
It is. These AI elements, they continuously absorb data from the inputs of the human pilots and operators who are training against them.
Could give me an example.
Think of it this way. When a human pilot successfully executes a complex maneuver to defeat the AI logs that maneuver, it analyzes the data, and it fundamentally changes its own defensive or offensive behavior for the next training session.
So the opponent you defeat today is actively teaching the enemy you fight tomorrow how to counter your move.
You got it.
That completely eliminates the problem of predictable static simulator opponents.
It does. The training environment is perpetually escalating in complexity and realism. In fact, the official report specifically said that these AI elements keep learning, making them more challenging to fight against than humans.
More challenging than humans.
It changes the benchmark for pilot readiness entirely. You're not just training muscle memory anymore. You're training against an opponent that is constantly optimizing and adapting.
So, what does this all mean when we combine the hardware story with this training story? I mean, we're not just seeing the GJ-11 debut, we are seeing a fundamental shift in how pilots are trained to fight against a dynamically coordinated, often AI-optimized force.
It means that every time a pilot trains, they are facing a harder test than the last time. It prepares them to operate within these highly flexible, integrated formations like the GJ-11 trio we discussed. It accelerates proficiency and doctrinal development at the same time.
The pressure that puts on air crews to continuously innovate their own tactics must be immense.
It is.
And this whole systemic shift is underpinned by a really rapid development context. We've seen other major unveilings recently, like the J-35A stealth fighter just a year ago at Airshow China 2024. Why is the pace of these strategic developments so fast?
Well, Song Zongping and other experts attributed this speed directly to continuous advancements in foundational technologies. We're talking aviation design, electronics, material science, and especially the software that runs the command and control systems.
When the bedrock improves, everything on top accelerates.
It compounds rapidly. The lag time between a technological breakthrough and its deployment in a new military system is shrinking dramatically.
That is a critical takeaway. We started this deep dive with a single image of 3 aircraft flying together in a celebratory film, but the sources are revealing a unified, systemic shift in doctrine, hardware, and training, all with AI elements as a foundational driver.
Which raises an important question, for you, the listener, and for military planners globally. How quickly will these fully integrated manned and unmanned systems mature for complex missions, given that the foundational tech shows no sign of slowing down?
The timeline could be much shorter than we thought.
It might be.
And if we look forward, what are the long-term strategic implications for legacy air defense systems? I mean, systems that were designed to counter formations of human-operated aircraft will soon face an opposition that's a dynamic combination of manned craft, networked drones, and an AI that's optimizing attack patterns in real time.
That level of complexity requires a complete strategic overhaul of counter-air defense. It forces a massive reevaluation of every air defense investment and every tactical deployment plan currently in use.
Fascinating stuff. So, to recap, the core takeaways from the source material are pretty clear. The operational debut of the GJ-11, J-20, J-16D trio signals that real-world manned-unmanned teaming is now a reality.
Right.
That trio offers a powerful, flexible tactical advantage jamming, stealth, and deep penetration, which experts describe as perfect for bypassing modern air defenses. And maybe most crucially, they're integrating these dynamic AI-driven digital forces into training networks. They're creating pilots who are trained against an ever-optimizing non-human adversary.
It's a convergence of technological leaps that will undoubtedly define the next generation of air superiority concepts.
Thank you for joining this deep dive into the accelerating evolution of air combat, all driven by drone technology and AI integration. We'll catch you next time.
Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the biggest shifts in aerospace, geopolitics, and defense innovation.